And silver, being one of the most undervalued commodities on the planet Earth, as you say, you've just referred to a ratio. We were 80-1 the other day. I mean, this is ludicrous. And I think that's right. So essentially, I mean, and then I know you're a big advocate of silver too. I know that silver is, I know you very well, and I know that silver is one of your very big in sort of you follow silver very, very closely, and I think you have a good investment into silver. Do you have some silver miners as well?
Yes, we do own some silver miners. I mean, they are fewer to come by, unfortunately, but we like First Majestic. We like Pan American Silver. We like the old Silver Standard. You know, those companies are all companies that we love. And we feel like the gold silver ratio is going to return to, more like the 20 range, which is going to cause silver to skyrocket dramatically. And we think there's a huge chance of a physical silver squeeze in the silver market.
And I must say, I totally agree with you. And sort of the more we look into the this counterintuitive action, it boggles the mind. This is why I believe it's a psyops operation. It really is it really is. If you think about the bets that have been made against silver, the heavy bets that were made against silver, in a period that were probably a year ago or more. I mean, most of the option structure, a lot of these bets were made a year ago, so ago. For 1 second, did they imagine that we would see a commodity crisis like this? And silver, being one of the most undervalued commodities on the planet Earth, as you say, you've just referred to a ratio. We were 80-1 the other day. I mean, this is ludicrous. So I think that kind of leads me to the analogy here of, hey, look at what happened in the nickel market, where we see a 250% price rise in 24 hours. This was an over-the-counter market position, paper position, that went awry. And we now have enough geopolitical drivers here that suggest all commodities are going to be severely undervalued at current prices. And what's your thoughts on silver into that squeeze?
Oh, I think silver is the most attractive asset out there, and the fact that we went from 29,000 a ton for nickel to over $100,000 in 24 hours is astounding. And this type of thing can happen in squeezes, and where we have this paradox between physical and paper markets. And so investors should not be surprised if something like this happens.
Yeah, and I think people we people that I come across, and we see these pictures of people being offered, hey, here's a candy bar, and here's an ounce of silver. People take the candy bar. I mean, it's like, this is a psychological. This is the result of a psyops operation where really, because it's been capped for so long, a lot of funds look at silver and go, well, there's no mileage in it. It's going to stay in a range. Maybe I'll short against it because it's going to stay in a range. Now you're the absolute experts on how you would value a short long position. And do you think that's a wise call, being short silver right now?
Oh, those people are going to get burned, Andrew. You and I both know it, and so it's going to be a time where they will rue the day that they took short positions in silver.
Yeah, and while we see an insidious relationship with the nickel trade, with let's face it, I mean, I know people who traded that on the long side, and there's obviously a lot of lawsuits now, et cetera, et cetera. But hey, if you legitimately traded that and you rode that short squeeze higher, and then you suddenly get told that you cannot capitalize on that, and they've just unwound all your trades, I think that's the message I'm trying to convey to people who have paper silver. Watch out, because you think you think you're riding the price higher, but actually they could just as easily decide to eliminate all those trades overnight.
And certainly you know that market better than anybody in the world, Andrew. And again, your listeners are very blessed having your wisdom conveyed to them.
Yeah, and I think if anyone needs to, I mean, this is all the clues are there. And we're talking about silver here because we love silver, and it is, and the Wall Street silver guys, are close to our hearts. I mean, these guys are drawing a lot of attention, and I think what happened was interesting because what they did was illustrate in February 2021 when we suddenly saw this a lot of money flowing into SLV because people hadn't wised up yet to the SLV is to me a rigged game, but anyway, that's just my opinion. But essentially, when BlackRock came out and said, and hang on, this 1 point something billion of ounces that were, no, we cannot go out to the market and buy it. Well, why not? Is my question. Why not? Because if somebody has purchased shares in this trust and there's a billion odd ounces that needs to be secured, how can you make a statement to say it's not available when actually in any market, there's always a market price?
And again, your listeners should go back and listen to all your From the Vault episodes where you've explained that phenomenon.
I think that's one of you've successfully ridden the short stocks long gold trade for so many years, and I think people should really pay attention to what you're saying, and even when this diluted paper gold trade has outperformed the S&Ps. And you did that call back in right at the turn of in the noughties, as they call it, and we've noticed a really bullish divergence going on ourselves. The Fed put? I guess really what I'm leading to is this Fed put that's in place for stocks that everyone knows is in place for stocks, and with this collapse in real yields, I guess the question is. And still the stock market bubble pops. Do you think gold can now rise with stocks for a while if you think that stocks are going to continue to rise?
Well, if the Fed put, which we know is still in place, and there's a lot of people that are thinking we could have a continued melt up from here.